Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Dragonheir Silent Gods video. In today's video, I'm gonna talk about the Planar expedition, at least for this week, and I'm gonna show you some, my three teams, and we're gonna talk a little bit about what are gonna be the best teams, what you should keep an eye out for, and, well, is it really worth it to try and compete or not in this one? So let's jump into it. Before I jump in the video, I do want to mention, as always, if you want to support me as a content creator, you can use code OddOne that you see over there at the top. Pretty much, if you do decide to spend in the game and use that code, they give me like 2% off out of what you spent on. I never encourage people to spend, but you know what? It would still help me if you want to support. The more people use the code, the more promo codes I'll have to give out. And speaking of promo codes, I still have like over 100 to give out, so make sure if you support me that you will DM me on Discord so I can give you some of those promo codes. You do get some instant rewards when you use my code, but then, I can give you some more of that stuff, so I would really appreciate it. But the whole thing about this Planar expedition, I personally like it, right? It's kind of like a weekly boss challenge. I think I prefer the fact that they make this challenge be weekly and not every single day as it was in season 1. Let me know in the comments down below, did you prefer it when it was on for 3 days, for example, and you had to do the fights every day, or do you prefer them weekly? I personally prefer them weekly because sometimes I can forget, right? If I don't log in one of the days or I forget about it, I just miss out on the rewards. The reality of these ones most of the time is you want to try and do your best damage possible because of these things. So first of all, alliance ranking. If you look over here, depending how well your alliance does, based on your server, you can see the ranking rewards. Your alliance ranking points can be good, right? So if you get in the top ones, you're going to get yourself some soul fragments, which can be good. Then you're going to get some affinity solvent, which again can be really important towards the beginning and middle of the seasons. So this one's going to be really good. Then there's like, server-wide rankings, which, again, you can get some more fun stuff, which can be really nice. But then this is the one that I personally really like. That kind of makes it be a little bit of a friendly competition within your alliance, and that's the in-alliance points ranking. I always try to get at least top 10 so that I can give myself some more affinity solvent. Again, especially in the earlier part of the seasons, if you get these, it's going to help you boost your normal teams, boost your psychic core and those buffs that you get by a lot. So definitely keep that in mind. This is, totally worth it from my point of view. Then when it comes to the fights, 100% somebody has to sacrifice himself and beat at least one of these ones. But the end goal, if you're trying to compete in the alliance, is to fight the middle one, right? Because these ones you can barely get any points. As soon as you kill them, it's not that much points because it's only one, right? I don't think I ever done it, or maybe I've only done it once. But the reality is you want to fight this one where there's 3 targets to hit, because hitting 3 targets means you're going to be doing some more damage. Now, if you're trying to think about it and be like, well, what can I do? What teams can I use? Well, let me just move myself a little bit out of the way. You see this records tab. This is something that you can always check, right? So if you click that tab, this page is going to open. You can always see if you're in a decent alliance, what have your alliance members been using? That's an easy way to decide, okay, what doing their build. So for example, I see CLS Blue Cow did 174,000. That sounds like a lot of damage. What did he use? He did a poison team. With Dragonheir, you can see all the builds, Twitch, Rata, and lots of fun stuff. Then if you look like Iliasfiel, I might have butchered your name. If you're watching this, I'm sorry. But again, you see this person has been using a Percunted team, 85,000. Then if you scroll, see 320,000. Well, this is where you can see the big stuff. And we see that it's a Lalwanis with our exclusive. We see that we have a Dark Lady. And then also a Bernade. I guess something's missing. I think it doesn't update it updates the gear. I think he did have full gear because I don't think he would have done that much damage without having the defense penalty, but still, you kind of get the gist, right? Again, if you look down here, you're going to see Ice Blast. If you look a little over here, you're going to see a rally team. So this is the best way for you. Okay, look at this. Okay, Blue Cow, I want to see this one. Yeah, as I was expecting, it's a Lalwanis team. But the reality is, if you're trying to compete, that's what you're going to look at. That's what you're going to do. For example, let me show you the teams that I've been using, and kind of I guess, go over a little bit over the bosses and what you should prioritize. So every single one of the bosses have some skills, and then they have a certain passive. So for example, this time around, the Radiant boss takes 30% more damage from lightning, right? So that's something to keep in mind. Then the lightning boss takes 30% more radiance damage, and then this one takes more fire damage. So these are the three kind of like weaknesses that it has, right? So that's kind of like that's something that you will keep in mind because it might help you kill it a bit faster. But then another thing that you want to do is you want to go over the boss's skills. You want to also check not only here, because here sometimes they don't show the best way, or maybe okay, this time it does show. Let me see, do they all show properly? Yeah, you kind of want to see what's the range the bosses have. What do they do? So if you actually try to compete and min max, you always try to look at, okay, what's the strongest unit that you want to deal with, and how can you actually do it in a way where you can actually kill that one first. Now, it becomes a bit tricky if the one that you have to kill, which would be the strongest, for example, in this case is the lightning one, if it's in the middle, right? Because if it's in the middle, you place them, your team, they're gonna attack the sides, unfortunately. Just the one in front attacks on the middle, everything else attacks the side. So if you don't have a single target team like an Ice Blast team, like I'm gonna show you mine, it's gonna be difficult to try and like target that one. But you look at the boss skills this time, you see, okay, this one does defense up, this one does, launches attack, anyone has nothing too crazy, and then this one just full board damage. Then if you look at the middle one, like I said, this one's the tricky one because does defense penalty, you see in the square shape, but then this is the one that can be annoying. Diamond shape does damage and then puts stun on us. Stun can be really tricky because it can get your team out of sync, and you definitely do not want to have that. Then if you look at the poison one, this one just does poison, more poison, nothing too crazy. So ideally, I would want to have to deal with this one in the middle, but it's a bit tricky sometimes because of the way it happens. But then at the same time, you want to stop this one from putting defense up. So as an example, what I'm using is my Irzilla's Chief Challenge team in the Burn team, right? I have pretty much the same builds that I had before. Like, there's going to be I already have a video on this team. So if you want to see my latest Irzilla's team, that's what you want to do. So I don't have to put like pre-codes, but my latest Irzilla's challenge boss team is what I put in here. The only change that I did, because the fact that there's 3 bosses, is I swapped around Karf and and Biggs' builds, because Karf does full board damage, so he's gonna be able to put Witch's Remains on everybody. Also pair that with Emissary's Whisper. Keep in mind, burns do not count as a debuff to activate Emissary's Whisper for some reason, as far as I was told. So I just swapped them around, right? I gave this to Karf so he can put Witch's Remains on everybody, the defense penalty, and I put Biggs in the Dawn Organ Pipe with the Brotherhood Spirit. And then if we look at the damage, I think I'm just gonna save this one. You're gonna see that, for example, this team can still do pretty good, right? It's obviously, I don't have it might be one of my best teams because I have an I5 Durham. However, I'm not gonna be able to do 500,000 even with my Lurwanis ones because I'm missing some key things. But still, even like this, look, 166,000. I'm just gonna save this one. Yeah, I'm just gonna save this one because you know what? It's towards the end of the season now. I don't need that much elemental affinity, so I can just save it. But now you saw we got some good rewards, right? There's some good stuff that they give us over here with some more, not the craziest, but still, it's some free stuff. Then another team that can be really useful is going to be an Ice Blast team, right? Ice Blast honestly is kind of like the king of this season, right? Lilwanis still is better for endgame stuff, and Burn is really quirky, but for overall utility, the Ice Blast team is still gonna be the best one. So this one, for example, is pretty much same thing. Used my same team that I used against the Grishnar Chief Challenge boss. The only thing that I did swap a little bit is I gave Zorak the Prismatic Cloak so that he can reflect some of those debuffs that the bosses do. Now this one's a bit tricky because it's a single target one. So the boss is gonna, for example, she's gonna try and keep this one controlled so we don't get ourselves. Actually, wait, no, I changed it. My bad. So I swapped, but I went based on that core. I swapped out. Instead of having Vinyara, I brought myself Velocia in the team because, like I said, what's the main issue? The main issue is this stun. So in order to control that stun, I have Velocia. It brings us the control immunity, right? So that's how you kind of always try and deal with it. Still have her in the Titan Reb with high resist, so we can resist those bosses' debuffs. You still have the Prismatic Cloak on Zorak to try and reflect some of those debuffs, so you can, you don't get the debuffs in the first place, but then you do more damage. And if I look, for example, this one, the damage is going to be, again, not the best because it's not AoE damage, but still is going to be one of those top damages. Like I think I did over 100,000, 120,000 in points. So, it's a really solid team that you can use. Keep in mind to always look at what's the hardest thing that you need to deal with, right? You saw 112,000, that's pretty good. Then for the last one, which is going to be kind of like the MVP, honestly, this team is always, I don't think I've seen any rotation where this team was not number one, or at least a variation of this team, because, well, I don't have the full, I don't have the full team, but it's going to be my Alton team, right? It's just the Lilwanis team. Now, this one little, actually, did I already do the swap? Yes, I did. So, for this one, again, Lilwanis is queen. I still have Allegiance to Death in the talent. There was something quirky about it. Before that, I thought I would do more damage without it and put a different one. No, this one's still the best talent, at least for the team that I have. But you're going to see it's Lilwanis with Urzilas, Dark Lady, Zarloth, and then Centralia. So, pretty much same team that I used against the Alton Chief Challenge. Just one little swap that I did, because again, Alton does not place debuffs on us, but this fight does. I gave my Urzilas Titan Rib, so when we get attempted to be debuffed, we can get the damage boost. Now keep in mind that the person that's going to be debuffed needs to be, the person that wears the Titan Rib needs to be close to the person that's going to be debuffed. The main debuff that's going to happen is this one, right? Defense penalty in a square shape, attacks the target with the highest defense and surrounding enemies. My person with the highest defense is going to be Lilwanis because of her passive, right? She's going to get 250% more defense, so she's going to be the one targeted, so that's why I put Urzilas close to them. Then you don't want to have too many in those square shapes, right? Just move them a bit to the side, and then, it's going to be a bit quirky because this team might take some stuns, but still, even with that, let me see, I have a better buff, yes. But even with the stuns, you're going to see, and even without having Bernade, right? If you have Bernade, bring Bernade instead of Zarloth and put her in the Witch's Remains. She's going to be obviously 10 times better. I don't have Bernade, so I'm just using what I have for now. But I think I did like around 200,000. Yep, 228,000 points. You know what? It's the best I can do for now. Obviously, MVP Lilwanis with her exclusive, but that's pretty much it. So if I look, for example, in my alliance at least, I think I should be somewhere in the top 10 right now. Let me see. Can I see alliance ranking? Where would I see it? My rank. It should be here. Right, what is it? Am I gonna appear? So I did 507,000. I should be like towards the top, but obviously there's still 2 days to go. My goal is always to try and get in the top 10 again. So I try to, get some of that other rewards. But that pretty much covers it for today. I hope this video was useful. If it was, please consider liking it, subscribing to the channel to see when I upload next. Don't forget to support using code OddOne that you see over there at the top. And I guess we'll see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.